Hello everybody, I am Tim with Golf Cart Garage. We are back once again with our weekly Q&A session that I do every week here for Golf Cart Garage, where I answer golf cart related questions that we've collected throughout the week. This is Thursday, July the 14th, and we are live right now. We are live on YouTube and Facebook right now. It is noon Central Time, so if you're watching this and it is 12 o'clock noon Central Time on July the 14th, you're watching this live. I am part of the Gearheads on Demand service that we offer at Golf Cart Garage. Gearheads on Demand service that we offer is a service where you can schedule an appointment with me to talk with me on the phone about golf cart related issues, or maybe I can help you out. Maybe I can help you fix your own cart. Maybe I can steer you in the right direction. Might be able to save you some money. You can also schedule a video session with me where I will send a link to your phone, and all you do is you click on the link, and then I can take control of your camera, and then I can see what you're pointing at. Sometimes that helps me, help you figure out your golf cart situation. If you're interested in that service, just click the link in the description, and that will take you to the scheduling page where you can pick out a convenient time that you would like for me to call you, or you'd like for me to send you a link for the video. You can do that with myself or one of the other technicians here at Golf Cart Garage. It's a very neat service that we offer, and for now it's free, so don't worry about that for now. Okay, last week we had a little technical glitch with YouTube. I couldn't see the comments in YouTube for some reason, so I found out what the comments were later, so I wanted to go back and clear those up before we get started with the regular questions. Last week there was a question from Ron Hansen on YouTube. He says, any suggestions on the new batteries coming out? I have an 03 Club Car 48 volt. Well, Ron, if you're talking about lithium, then they're all good. I mean, it's there's not really, if you wanted to look at a pro and con list, there's not really anything on the con list except for cost, because they are expensive. They are expensive. But everything else is a pro when it comes to lithium. Just the weight savings alone is going to be a tremendous performance advantage for your golf cart compared to the way it was before, because you're going to lose like 300 pounds off of your cart, so your power to weight ratio is going to be off the chart now. Here at Golf Cart Garage, we sell Dakota lithiums, we sell Allied lithiums, and we're constantly looking at other manufacturers, possibly gaining more manufacturers for lithium. The lithiums are more readily available now than they used to be. In the last 5 years, they've become more readily available for golf carts. So either one of those would be fine. If you're welcome to go to our website and look around for info on that, and see what you like, see what you think you can afford, see what kind of system you want to put in your car. There's different configurations. There's different amp hour systems for range. If it gets kind of complicated for you, you're welcome to schedule an appointment with me, and I'll be glad to discuss some of this with you. Just click the link in the description. Okay, last week also I missed this comment. This is from 𝗏𝘂𝘁𝗿𝘂. He says, on my Lester Summit 2 36-volt charger, it goes through all three phases and then goes to phase 4 and continues to charge until I stop it manually. Why? Well, you're right on the phases and everything, but how are you verifying that it continues to charge? Are you just saying that because the light's still on? Or are you saying that you verified that with a voltmeter? Because I would want you to verify with a voltmeter on your pack that it is actually still charging, because it's supposed to go into storage mode, which is it's not a trickle charge. It shuts off and then comes back on later on. So that's how the storage mode is supposed to work. So I would want you to verify that that's what's going on with a voltmeter on the battery pack. All right, that looks like that was all I missed on YouTube last week, so we'll get started with the regular questions now. Oh, and by the way, by all means, anybody in the live chat, go ahead and ask a question, say something in the live chat, say what's up, Tim. Anybody watching in the live chat. Okay, let's go to question number 1. I have a gas cart. When I turn the engine over, it sparks once and then no spark. What could be wrong? Well, there's only a few things responsible for spark in a gas cart. Simply, to answer your question simply, it could be coil, it could be igniter, it could be spark plug. So that would be the three most common issues that could cause you not to have could cause you to have just a one spark, unless you've got something wired wrong or something like that, because you should have more than one spark. So I would look at those three items for sure. Number 2. I have a 2006 Yamaha golf cart. If you let off the gas, it stops, but I want it to keep running so when I go down my hills, it will hold the cart back. I understand what you're saying there, because on a gas, golf carts, when you let off the gas, they do stop. I mean, but that's only when you're on flat ground and you let off the pedal, and they'll go dead. But on a gas cart, normal operation, when you're going downhill, you let off the gas. The motor does not die. It sits there and idles, and the clutches work to hold you back and keep you from freewheeling down the hill. That would be normal operation. If your cart is not doing that, then you have something out of adjustment. Most likely the governor cable is out of adjustment, or the idle screw or something is out of adjustment there that's causing it to go completely dead when you let off the gas, and then it just freewheels down the hill. That's not how it's supposed to work. So it could be a faulty switch. Most likely a governor cable is out of adjustment. You got the governor tightened up too much, because Yamaha is very, very easy to adjust the governor, so I wouldn't doubt it if somebody's been playing with the governor on almost all Yamahas. Let's see, number 3. Number 3 is from Teresa. 93 EZGO gas cart, no power, won't move forward or reverse. Okay, are you saying, Teresa, that it will not crank? It won't crank? Or you said no power. Do you mean that the motor will not crank? Is the motor turning over and it's just not cranking? Because a lot of people get confused on that. They think their car is running, their golf cart on a gas car. When they step on the accelerator pedal, they think it's idling. It's not idling. It's just like, when you get in an automobile and you put the key in the ignition, if you remember automobiles with keys, you put the key in the ignition and you turn the key, the motor starts turning over, but it's not cranked until it revs up, So on a gas golf cart, it's the same thing. You hitting the gas pedal or the accelerator pedal is just like turning the key on an automobile. It's not cranking. It's just turning the motor over, trying to crank, and it's not cranked until it revs up. So a lot of people, when they describe something to me about a gas golf cart, they get that a little bit confused. They think their car is idling, but it's not. It's just the motor's turning over, trying to crank. So that would be my question. If it is just turning over and it's not cranking, then on a gas cart, you got the 3 main things you have to check. The 3 main important things. You got to have fuel to the carburetor. Well, it's actually 4 things. You got to verify that you're getting fuel to the carburetor. You have to verify that you're getting fuel past the carburetor. You have to verify that you're getting spark, and then you have to verify that you have compression. You've got to have all those things, or for the car to crank. Okay, let's see. Number 4. This is from Joseph. Says he has a Yamaha that smokes sometimes, not always. Bought a well-used Yamaha, 6 to 8 years old. It smokes sometimes and sometimes it doesn't. I've run it for 6 to 7 hours and it hasn't used any oil at all. Well, if it smokes and it's a 6 or 7 year old Yamaha, 6 to 8 year old Yamaha, then it is using oil from somewhere. I mean, it's either burning oil that's in the crankcase, or it's burning old oil buildup that's inside the muffler or something like that. That could be what it's doing. Now, if it's not smoking very much and you're not even seeing a significant drop on your dipstick, I probably wouldn't worry about it too much. But as soon as you start noticing a significant drop on your dipstick, you probably need to check your compression and see what's going on there. But it's definitely, the smoke is oil. There's no doubt about it. It's oil from somewhere. It's either from your crankcase or your exhaust. So keep checking your oil and make sure that it doesn't start getting low on you. Number 5. 2017 EZGO TXT cart not working. My cart simply stopped working. I noticed my charger started blinking just 2 quick red lights. Things I've replaced since: batteries, solenoid, and charging port with wiring. My LED headlights, horn, and undercarriage lights all work, but no reverse siren and battery indicator do not come on. The cart does not drive. Could it be the ignition? Well, it could be the ignition, but there's a lot of things that I would want to do first. You said you're getting 2 red lights on your charger. We need to clear that up right off the bat. You need to try that charger on another cart that where everything is fine, and make sure that your charger is operating correctly on another cart, because your lights and all that has nothing. The way your lights are hooked up should have nothing to do with your cart running. So you got 2 separate issues there. You know, your lights all work, but the fact your cart doesn't run is a completely separate issue than your lights. So let's get that charger out of the equation, and then I want to come back to the batteries and see what you got going on there, because your charger is reading a fault for some reason. For one reason or another, it's reading a fault with the 2 red blinks. You either, when you change the batteries, maybe you forgot to hook up a wire somewhere or something like that. That could be it. All right, let's see. Let's go over to Facebook and YouTube just real quick, see what we got. Let's see, we're on Facebook. We got Richard in Facebook. He says, to make my electric cart go faster up to 25 miles an hour, do I need to only replace the motor or batteries also? Well, Richard, you don't have to replace the batteries. Now, just replacing the motor, this is what I would do. If I wanted to go 25 miles an hour, and I have a golf cart that goes 75 miles an hour, by the way, but if I only wanted to go 20 miles an hour, 25 miles an hour, I would get one of the combo kits, and that would include a motor, and that would include a controller, and it would include a heavy-duty solenoid. And I would install one of the combo kits that we have at Golf Cart Garage for your particular model cart. Go to golfcartgarage.com, look up your particular model in the combo kit area, and they even have in the description for the different combo kits that we have, it even tells you the percentage of torque increase that you can expect and the percentage of speed increase that you can expect. So that would be the easiest plug-and-play way to do it right there. Now after that, you can, make even more adjustments. If it's not fast enough, like you can put a high-speed gear set in there. You can, if your car's 36 volts, you could change it to 48 volts. You could go to lithium batteries if you wanted to. That would probably not make your car any faster, but it would make your car more powerful. It would make your car quicker. But just because of the weight savings alone would do that too, and the way that lithium resists voltage drop. I know I've talked about that before. Anyway, let's go back to the regular questions. Oh, let me check YouTube. Let's see. Well, it looks like we're all right on YouTube. Now we'll go back to the regular questions. Where are we at? Number 6. Okay, number 6. You got the Yamaha G29 drive, having problems getting the clutch to engage. It seems like it's not getting gas. I replaced the clutch and belt, but that didn't make a difference. When I push the accelerator pedal, the motor starts, but there's not enough RPMs to engage the clutch. Very similar situation that I talked about earlier in one of the earlier questions. It sounds like you're describing that the motor's just turning over trying to start, because the clutch does have to get to a certain RPM before it will engage. So it doesn't sound like your car is cranking, is what I'm saying. It's not cranking up, it's just sitting there spinning, trying to crank. It's just turning up with the starter generator is what's turning it over. And yes, that's not enough to engage the clutch. So we got to figure out why your car's not running. you've got to figure out why it's not cranking. So you need to verify you're getting fuel, spark, and compression. And we get it cranking, and I guarantee you when it cranks, when it finally does cranks, it will, that clutch will engage. Okay, number 7. After changing fuel pump, do I need to prime the system? It's not picking up fuel. It wasn't picking up fuel before, so I'm not sure it was the fuel pump. I have had an old gas car that after I ran out of gas, which would be similar to having to change the fuel pump, because when you run out of gas, you actually burn all the gas in the fuel hose through the fuel pump all the way to the carburetor. You burn everything up. So, and it had a hard time re-picking up the gas whenever whenever I filled the gas tank up. It had a hard time until I primed the system. I don't know if that is your case or not, because it should prime on its own if everything is correct. So the first thing that I would check is you know how a fuel pump operates. It operates off of a vacuum line from the crankcase. So there's one of those lines that goes to your fuel pump is coming from the crankcase of your motor. That line, as your motor turns over, it creates a back and forth pump situation, and that's what pumps the fuel to your carburetor. So if you have any kind of cracks or tears or air leaking in that line, it could cause it not to be able to suck the fuel very much. So you might want to check that. That would be the first thing I would check, would be the crankcase pressure line. All right, let's see, number 8. 1984 gas club car. Riding, stopped. Got off and back on. Only will click at solenoid. Replace solenoid. Still clicking at solenoid. Okay. If we're talking about a gas car, and the solenoid's clicking, and you replace the solenoid, and it's still not turning over, you're telling me that the starter generator is not turning over? If that's the case, it could be brushes in a car that old. I mean, that's a pretty old car. It could be brushes in the starter. You could try. If you look at a starter generator, you'll see that there's these rubber caps around the end of it where the brushes are located. You can remove one of those rubber caps, and you can like press on one of those brushes with a piece of wood or something, and see if you find a intermittent problem there. I've actually discovered that before. It would be an intermittent starting, and then I found out one of my brushes was so short that every now and then it was not getting contact, and I press on it with a piece of wood, and it would turn over every time. So if you're talking about a gas car, then that would be somewhere that I would look. Now, on an electric car, to duplicate the symptoms that you're describing, it could be a battery cable, believe it or not. Just one battery cable could be like barely hanging on. You could have a loose connection. The solenoid would still click, but it would not allow enough amps to pass through in order for the car to run. So you might want to check some of the obvious things if we're talking about an electric car, like all your battery cables and connections are clean and tight. All right, let's see, number 9. This is from Dan. Speed sensor on a 2003 club car. Don't see the round place on the end of the motor like in all the videos. My motor is flat on the end. Do I have a speed sensor on this cart? Okay, if your motor is flat on the end and there's nothing on there, there's not wires coming out of there, and there's not anything mounted to then you do not have a speed sensor. Speed sensors are only on regenerative braking carts. Your cart must be the regular series electrical system, and it's not a regenerative braking cart, and it does not have a run tow switch under the seat. Only cars that have a run tow or tow maintenance switch lever under the seat have a speed sensor on the end of the motor. Okay, number 10. 87 par car gas loses speed in forward, especially uphill. Doesn't seem to open up or hold revs. Well, since we're talking about an 87, the first thing that I would suspect is that you would have a low compression. So I would, if your clutches are operating normally and you're losing a massive amount of power on heels, then I would want a proper compression test on the top end just to make sure, to see what's going on there. Because I'm not sure on an 87 if that's going to be a 2-stroke or a 4-stroke, but it might even be a 2-stroke. So it'd be very likely that it needs a top end rebuild on that. All right. Number 11 is from Joshua. It has a 2003 Club Car DS that was part of the wife's father's estate, and I'm attempting to get it running correctly. When we first started using it around the neighborhood, it reached top speed easily. One day while driving, it just slowed down, and now it only operates at a slow speed. I've been told that I need a speed sensor and magnet. I'm hoping you can point me in the right direction. For that, it may tell you exactly what cart I have on my hands. All right, well, in 2003, if you have a run tow switch under the seat, like I was just saying, and your serial number is AQ03, if the letters in your serial number, which is right behind your accelerator pedal up on the wall, by the way, there's a sticker there, right behind your accelerator pedal, up a little bit on the wall. Should start with AQ03. That means you have an IQ system, a 2003 IQ. And on that car, there is a speed sensor on the end of the motor. And when you say it only operates slow, if you're talking about like all of a sudden it went from normal operation to now it runs like 5 miles an hour and it just creeps along, then it is very likely that it is the speed sensor. That is most likely what it is. Now, if this was just a gradual thing where it gradually slowed down to this point from running normally, then I would have questions about your batteries. But if it was an all of a sudden thing, then it would most likely be speed sensor. Number 12. I accidentally shorted the electrical system when I tried to install a radio in the dash. I replaced a part by the batteries and got the cart running, but the lights still don't work. What do you think the problem is? I did run a wire from the battery to the rear light and it lit up. I'm so stumped. All right, I'd have questions about how your lights are hooked up, because your lights don't have anything to do with your cart running. That's a completely separate circuit. I mean, your lights are getting 12 volts from somewhere. So where are your lights getting the 12 volts that they need from? Does your car have a voltage reducer, or are your lights being powered off of just one of your 12 volt batteries? Or, I mean, how are your lights working? But anyway, they don't have anything to do with the way your car runs. You could yank all your wires having to do with your lights out and your car would still be running. I mean, it's a completely separate circuit. So if you got your car running and it's just your lights, then you need to figure out what you pop there. Most likely, if your cart is running a light kit from any of the popular light kits that are available nowadays, it most likely has a fuse in the light kit line somewhere. So you could have popped a fuse there. Let's see, we'll go to 13. I got power going to the relay, none coming out. Could it be the relay is bad? Well, a little more info would probably help. What are we talking about? Are we actually talking about a relay? Because the way that a relay works is very similar to the way that a solenoid works. You get power going in, and that activates it, and it's just an on-off switch is what it is, and so it switches. It either goes on or off after it gets activated, and then it allows power to go out. So if you know you're getting power into a solenoid or a relay, and then you're not getting power out, then yeah, it's most likely a bad relay. If I'm understanding your question correctly there. Let's see, number 14. 95 club car 48 volt. Just put new forward and reverse switch in April. Forward just melted again. Has history of melting. A few switches in the past. What will help? Well, you must be talking about the mechanical type forward and reverse lever that has the copper bus bars inside, and when you turn the lever, the copper bus bars line up to go like this into forward, and then you turn the lever to reverse and they line up like this, which changes polarity to the motor, and then the motor spins in reverse. Well, those copper bus bars take a lot of amps. All of your amps go through those copper bus bars. That's why they do make and are available, you can even get one at Golf Cart Garage, is a heavy duty forward and reverse switch. It is usually designed for, they're usually used on lifted car applications, because on a lifted car you even have more of a strain and more amperage going through that forward and reverse switch. Your forward and reverse switch has to be, that mechanical type has to work really well in order, it has to be working perfectly for it not to build up heat. Well, a heavy duty forward and reverse switch has thicker copper bus bars in it, so it's got bigger contacts in it. So that might be what you need in order to keep it from melting again. Look up next time you're ordering for a forward and reverse switch for your car, look for the words heavy duty or HD and for your car, and that will be a little bit better switch for your situation. Okay, number 15. Oh, let me check before I go to 15. Let me check Facebook and YouTube again. Let's see. Back on Facebook, we got Eric. Eric says, I have a Rox Deluxe light switch and harness in my cart. I added a brake switch, but now they stay on when the parking brake is on. Any way to fix that? Well, you're supposed to have one of two things is supposed to turn your brake lights off. Would be when you install one of those kits with brake lights, they either have a double micro switch device that when you set the parking brake, it shuts the brake lights off, or there's a timer. You know, you either have a delay timer where the brake lights will stay on after you hit the parking brake. They'll stay on like 4 minutes or something like that, and then go out. So you need to make sure that it's not just your timers, you know, not going out, or that you have the other type that I'm talking about with the double micro switches. That's the only two ways I know that the brake lights go out when you set the parking brake. Okay. Not anybody on YouTube. We'll go back to the questions now. Okay, number 15, that's where we were at. 95 EZGO TXT electric. I put in forward or reverse and accelerate, and it just spins. Exactly what do I need to order? Sounds like you're talking about what is called, you spun a hub. Brake hub on EZGO of your year, it's got a splined center, and that splined center slides on to your splined axle, and so the splines go in like that. What will happen is the axle is made out of stronger material than the brake hub, and it's designed that way on purpose. It's designed that way. If you get in a stressful point and you want something to break, you want it to be the brake hub and you don't want it to be the axle. So the axle is hardened more than the brake hub, and it will strip the splines inside the brake hub. And so what you're probably hearing is when you press the accelerator pedal, your axle is spinning inside that brake hub. It's a very common thing, And you need to go to golfcartgarage.com and order this part number. I'm about to give you the part number for the part number you need. And I would recommend the OEM brake hub. It's a little more expensive, but it's definitely stronger than the. If you have a history of doing this, or if your car is lifted with taller tires, I would definitely recommend getting the OEM original equipment manufacturer brake hub. And the part, and we sell that. So the part number for that is 14174. 14174. That's an OEM brake hub for your car. It's $90.95. All right, let's see. Number 16 is from Roy. 2002 Club Car DS. Accelerator is getting jerky, and the gas and the pedal goes 2/3 of the way to the floor to start. What do I need to fix? Well, if we're talking about electric, then it's very likely. At one point in my golf cart experience, I was in charge of 55 2002 club cars, just like yours. And so if we're talking about electric, then it's definitely going to be an 𝗲𝘂𝗲𝘀 issue. If you're having to push the pedal further and further down before the car goes, and the acceleration is getting jerky, the 𝗲𝘂𝗲𝘀 is the device that's responsible for all that. Now, if we're talking about a gas car, you wasn't real clear in your question about whether we're talking about electric or gas, so I'll try to cover both scenarios. If you're talking about a gas car, then you probably have a cable or something out of adjustment, because you shouldn't have to go that far. Because what happens is, on a gas car, when you push the accelerator pedal, there's a click which clicks the solenoid, which starts turning the starter generator over. But then you have to push the gas pedal a little bit more in order for the carburetor to open, in order for fuel to get to the spark. So it's kind of like a two-phase thing on a gas car. First, it's just the click of the solenoid and starter generator's turning over. But the car most likely is not going to crank like that. You got to push a little bit more, which opens up the butterfly valve on the carburetor to allow some fuel to get to it, and then it will crank. But so if you're talking about gas, you must have a cable out of adjustment if it's gotten to the point where you're having to go 2/3 of the way down. But like I said, if it's electric, it's most likely going to be your 𝗲𝘂𝗲𝘀. All right, let's go to 17, which is the last regularly scheduled question. How does the rear axle on the passenger side of a Club Car DS go back together? Well, on a Club Car DS, you can have two different types of axles. The way that they go back together is pretty much the same on either one. You either have a type G axle, which stands for Graziano. It's an Italian axle, believe it or not. And then you could have a type K axle, which is Kawasaki axle. On the one that I have the most, one I'm more familiar with is the Graziano, and I can tell you that the way that it comes apart, that the passenger side axle is, you can take it apart one of two ways. You can take the axle out. The axle is just held in with a retaining ring, and the axle can pull out. Or you can remove the entire tube all at once by disconnecting the bolts on the rear end itself. Like one side of that axle tube on the passenger side, that axle tube goes all the way to your differential, and there's like 5 bolts right there in the side of the differential. You can remove those 5 bolts with an air wrench or something real quick, and then you pull that whole tube out. So, how does it go back together is what you're asking. So I'm not exactly sure what it is you want me to say, unless you're wanting to know, like, after you remove the axle, it just slides back into place. So you might want to give me a GHOD. Click the link in the description, and we can get more specific with what it is that you need, because I'm pretty sure I could help you with that, but I'm not exactly sure what you're asking me there. Let's see. We'll go to YouTube and Facebook, check a little bit. Got anything there on YouTube? Look at Facebook. Oh, Eric Miller says, thanks. I didn't wait and see. I know it has a timer delay. Okay, well, you might want to give it a little time and see if they go out, because that's the way those work if you've got the timer delay on the brake light situation. So yeah, just give it a time it and see if they ever go out, and let it stay there for at least 4 minutes, because I believe it's going to be 4 minutes. Okay. Oh, Eric said it worked. Thank you. All right, good job, Eric. Let's see here. Don't forget to go to golfcartgarage.com. Look for this logo on our site. Extreme Golf Cart Makeover Season 2. There's a new video coming out tomorrow. Dave's got a new video that's going to be coming out. You can enter to win cash and prizes. Go check it out for more info. Look at this logo. Also, don't forget about Gearheads on Demand service that we offer here at Golf Cart Garage. You can schedule a phone call with me at a convenient time. You can schedule a video session where I'll send you a link to your phone, and I can take control of your camera. I can see what you're pointing at. If you're interested in talking with me or one of the other technicians at Golf Cart Garage, just click the link in the description for Gearheads on Demand. That will take you to the scheduling page. And I'll be there whenever the time comes. I'll be there. Well, that looks like it's going to be about it. I'll check this this one more time just to make sure everybody is done. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming. I want to thank the live chatters in there. I want to thank you, Eric, and let's see, Richard. And I'm glad I got to the people I missed last week. Everything seems to be working fine this week. I didn't lose YouTube this week, so everything's cool. All right, that looks like it's going to be it for me this week. I will see everybody next week. Thank y'all for coming. The garage is now closed.